Indian Scott digging through the past. Crazy tales they uncover fast. History's stranger than you think. They'll also talk about wieners in a blink. They'll talk about wieners in a blink. Oddball History.
Bum 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 bum. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Bum 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 bum. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him lots of hair like Liberace. I don't remember.
I don't know.
I jumped ahead.
Like Liberace? Is that one of the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Give him lots of wavy hair like Liberace.
I always like the national anthem has like 3 or 4 verses.
Does it?
Yeah, there's a lot to it. It's like a 10-minute song.
All right.
And you read through. They're not as good. There's a reason we stick to the good one.
Yeah.
You know. But
Yeah,
boom, boom, boom.
How.
Welcome to this week's
I was
Oddball
looking
History.
for some toes. Getting back to our roots.
Yes.
ZZ Top.
My fundamental confusion of what song we're singing.
It could be a couple different
It could be a couple different ones. I think ZZ Top.
I think how to me, to my generation, that belongs to ZZ Top. I know it's not theirs. It's like an old blues thing, but as a kid, how that was
ZZ Top.
That was ZZ Top's property.
My brother got to meet him at his 21st birthday. Got to meet the band.
Who?
My brother, him and my dad went to Vegas for his 21st birthday. Just like a one-nighter.
You got to meet all the fellows?
Yeah. So one of my dad's friends from Houston back in the 70s.
Oh, sorry.
A pretty lady back then. A little crazy now.
Nice.
But she used to like bang Billy Gibbons.
Oh, that's really cool.
And it was...
All right, good for her.
And it was good enough to where 40 years later, she could contact him and get 2 random dudes backstage. So she was doing something right.
She was putting it down.
She was laying it down for the decades.
Yeah, she was breaking some bed frames on her day. She was Gibbonsing on that Billy till he
Gibbonsing on that Billy. He was not looking for tush when Terry was in town. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But we'll do her middle name and last name because it's funny. It's a bit. But
that was... yeah, I mean, you can't be any schmo in the sack if you're impressing a member of ZZ Top.
Yeah, come on now.
Any member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, mostly, pretty much.
The famous fun fact, the drummer's last name is Beard.
No beard.
No beard. The only guy.
The beardless in ZZ Top.
What a fun little piece of oddball history.
Named Beard.
Speaking of oddball history.
Amazing.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe, guys.
Just fucking like it. I don't know. Go to YouTube and like it on YouTube. That seems to be
shout
fun.
out our new Instagram followers. We're up above 11K
11,000. Yeah, there we go.
So welcome. If you've come on over from that platform,
welcome aboard.
We love you.
So today we're doing ancient medicine stuff.
Hell yeah.
We're covering Egypt. We're covering Greece. We're covering Rome.
Yeah, we got a whole mix of insane sounding now, but medical cures.
This has come up in the podcast a lot. Is like
it's a mix.
The heroic age of medicine. We're not really doing that today, but that's where we were just starting to figure stuff out, and they were doing a bunch of wacky shit.
Yeah,
but this is just 3,000 years ago.
Yeah, the ancients.
Rubbing poop on stuff,
drinking different kinds of bloods, doing different kinds of things with different animals.
The Gladiator blood one. Buckle up for that one.
I don't know if there was just like a store you went for different kind of animal bloods.
Yeah.
Because you needed a whole bunch.
An apothecary, I believe.
Yeah.
That's the old school name.
Yeah, the apothecary, and now that's the name of expensive,
just old lady stores,
and and there was a place across from Plano House of Comedy called Apothecary.
Yeah,
it looked so goddamn.
There's going to be some handbags in there that hurt your feelings.
I would walk in there and they do the thing from The Simpsons where they're like, "Hello, sir. Could you please leave right now without making a fuss?" That was the vibe I got.
Yeah,
I got from that place.
I don't belong here.
Yeah.
But before that, as always, the top comments.
Comments of the week.
All right, our first top comment.
We miss you, Warrior.
Yes. Every top comment is going to have an ultimate
You turned
warrior.
into a pretty bad guy, actually, toward the end. I don't know.
I added that. Did you see I added the clip of that?
Yes.
In the actual podcast
And
on YouTube?
It was more haunting than I remember. I remembered him being more kind of up.
No,
And he was like, he sounded like he was having a break.
He did describe being gay as queering,
Yeah.
which made
That's
me
fun.
giggle.
That's kind of fun.
Where he was like, "Hey, you go do some queering, wait 9 months. I bet there's not going to be a baby. You're going to hell." I was like, go do some queering.
Queering.
Yeah, which sounds like you're going fishing. Like,
Yeah, it sounds like
Saturday night. You're
sounds
like,
like
"God
you're
dang,
gambling.
Should we do some queering?" I don't know.
Yeah. I totally forgot that he phrased it like that.
Yeah,
but
very funny.
really, it's cool to have a term where when you say it, everyone knows you're insane.
Yeah.
Like just a single term, and
Say
everyone's
queering,
like,
and everyone's like, "Oh, I think
okay.
I know the rest of his
Yeah,
opinions
all right,
about
yeah.
most things."
I think I see where he's going with
Yep.
this.
I got it. We can just fast forward to the end. I think base is covered.
And he's at a college.
Yes.
Saying
What?
all this
Who
stuff,
is
and
hiring?
everyone's just going, boo!
Oh, the crowd was kind of into it. It was a 50-50 crowd.
Oh, which one?
The
Wait.
one of him saying all the anti-gay stuff.
Oh, damn.
I
didn't
think it was
remember
a
that.
spectacle.
I thought he was getting shouted down.
Nah, there was it was
maybe there was-
50-50. There was. I think
were-
the spectacle of him being funny about it, or it being so
Yes.
outlandish that people were like,
Yeah, like half the people are like, this is great.
In
What
the
a train
moment,
wreck.
being
And half the
like,
people
yes.
are like, oh my God.
exactly. Half the people were like, "Oh, the Ultimate Warrior got paid to speak at our college, and
Yeah.
he's doing Ultimate Warrior stuff."
He's not the same if he can't run back and forth and shake the ropes. He's really relying heavily on that.
He's really
for his
relying on the
his
ropes a lot.
stage presence.
Okay, we got our Ultimate Warrior sidetrack out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's do those top comments.
Top comment.
Welcome to Oddball History, where we explore the quirks of our past. Today we're diving into the evolution of medical remedies through the ages, with a touch of humor. Imagine this. In 2000 BC, a patient goes to a doctor with an earache. The doctor says, "Here, eat this root." Fast forward to 1000 BC, that root is heathen, say this prayer. By 1850 AD, that prayer is superstition, drink this potion. In 1940 AD, that potion is snake oil, swallow this pill. Then in 1985 AD, that pill is ineffective, take this antibiotic. Now for the year 2000, that antibiotic is artificial. Here, eat this root. This humorous cycle highlights how our understanding of medicine evolves, often returning to nature's remedies. Now let's dive into some top comments. Chaos reigns.
All right, so our first top comment is from the Lady Betty clip, our Irish executioner, the second
Shout
female
out.
minor historical character.
That's right. Minor historical figure. Second lady executioner of Ireland.
Yep, and this lady goes, "Thank you, gonna use her as my next D&D character."
Hell yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah.
I love that. That's a great idea.
I've never got enough into D&D stuff to do like role play like a boring or silly character.
Yeah, I've never played D&D. I always felt I could get into it.
I
if
did
given a
one
shot,
campaign with Pete Jung.
Shout out Pete Young,
Check
friend
out
of the pod,
our,
former
Jack
guest
Parsons
co-host.
episode. He was with us, so you can check out Pete. Funny
It's
guy.
a very fun episode.
I'm sure we
Jack
talked about it
Parsons
in
was a
detail on
crazy
that
sumbitch.
on that episode, but
I think you do.
it was all comedians, and it was just Pete, bless his heart, created like a beautiful campaign and a world for us to explore in, and we
Hell yeah.
didn't leave the opening pub scene. And I got one of my characters got jailed because I was like a big lizard guy that was like the tank of the group, like the one to take damage.
Cool.
And he was Warcock. So
right.
my bit was I would use my penis as a weapon.
Sure.
And then we fought a bear, and I essayed the bear.
Oh, yes. Yes. I remember this now.
And so because of that, I was then jailed.
oh, you got
And
yeah.
so I had to change my character to Goodcock. Like it was Warcock the Destroyer and Goodcock the Redeemer,
I love
who was
it.
the brother of Warcock, who was trying to save his family's name.
That's
It was
good.
a lot
Did
of.
he?
He got around to it eventually.
All right. Well, that's good.
He didn't get jailed,
Yeah, he didn't get jailed for sexually assaulting any animals. So
but that's
that's a low bar to clear.
It's a very low bar.
But did he clear it?
He
fucking
cleared it. Yeah. But I was
So-
thinking of, have you seen like the the big game. Are you a gamer at all? Were you? I feel like no.
Slightly. Yeah, no, I've always like, I liked, I had like Super Nintendo and Sega and stuff when I was a kid. And then, when did I cut off? Because, all right, I had like a PlayStation, I had an Xbox. I guess kind of.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
I did some PC gaming of like.
Oh, you mean like No, I've
Yeah.
never PC gamed. I've never been a serious PC gamer. And I know PC gamers are like, is there any other kind of gaming?
Of course.
That horse shit with the fucking controllers. Get the fuck out of my sight.
But I love doing
That's
the
what they-
old ones of like
No,
playing.
PC gamers are always bullying you.
Always-
No, sorry.
you fucking jock. What are you doing?
Get out of here.
Yeah. Like Planescape, Torment, Baldur's Gate 2.
All right.
Played all the Diablos. Love those. But I like now they came out with the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, but they
All right.
remastered it and made it awesome.
Okay.
And like it's not super expensive, and they just released it one day, didn't tell anybody, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's badass.
And
It
I'm
sounds
bummed
cool.
out that now my life, I don't have a few hours every day.
Yeah.
Because those games aren't fun just to like run through. Like you can play a Call of Duty and finish this campaign in 3 hours
Yeah.
and pick up and just play online. You really got to do like 100 hours minimum to fuck around in it. And I'm disappointed that I'm not disappointed. If I wanted to, I could, but
What if you abandoned your family, but just for enough time to get in some good gaming?
I was laughing. Taylor, my wife, went out of
It's a nice
town
balance.
for a work trip for 3 days, left me alone with the son. And I was like, we had a great time, but I was like, do I full dirtbag this and just drop his ass off in daycare from 7:30 to 5:30? Buy me an Xbox.
Yeah.
Figure some shit out.
That would have been fun.
That would have been nice.
You probably would have felt bad. Like
I would have felt terrible.
The whole time. It would have
Only after-
it would have cast a bit of a pall over the over the
I would have,
gaming.
if I would do that, which I wouldn't, I would just not tell anybody.
Yeah.
Jimbo's going offline for a few days.
Yeah. I will say though, the last time that I was like spending lots of time on a single video game was the Red Dead Redemption 2.
That was
and
awesome.
I could have such a great time in that game. Just I would put on my music and I would ride my horse around and pick fights and steal things.
I could
Sometimes
see
forage.
you as a stoner having a blast.
It's the
with not
best.
accomplishing anything, but just cruising.
Yeah. And after a while, yeah, they're like, you can hunt, you can gamble.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much to do in that world.
You're just sandbox games. You're living a life.
And it's just like when it came out, it was just so badass. Like all the landscapes and stuff. Put on some fucking
Some Tom
Krong
Petty
bin,
and
some
get to
Krong bin or
Heartbreaking.
Neutral Milk Hotel.
Ooh.
Just cruise around. I'm not telling y'all anything you don't know. Everybody, we all do the same thing.
But our the next one was about the guy begging Jack Ketch to kill him quicker.
Yeah,
And he just
you
said,
dog.
Just
You
picturing
dog.
Norm Macdonald as Lord Russell, because that joke is so Norm.
Yeah,
Which I'm imagining like, hey, cut my head off already.
and I'm imagining the dirty work line. Way out of line. Way out of line. when he's like, when
Swinging
he's
an axe
yelling,
way out of line.
yelling at the guys for prison.
Who are you, O.J.
R-wording
Simpson?
him. Do you remember that part? He's like,
No.
you know what? The most is the disrespect. I think it's a fucking wow. What a
I don't
joke.
think I ever watched Dirty Work all the way through.
Oh, you got to watch Dirty Work.
Yeah.
You'll love it. It's great. I mean, it's like it's like a bad to some degree.
Yeah.
like 90s
I did see a funny
movie,
meme
but
of-
it's Norm joke, so it's fucking gold. It's the best,
Yeah.
and a great cameo from Don Rickles.
Ooh. I saw a funny
he's their
meme
boss.
about it with it was like Deshaun Watson talking shit to Shador Sanders when he gets to the locker room. And it was
Yeah.
a scene from it had to be this movie. But it's Norm Macdonald with a bunch of strippers going like, I bet you didn't see my army of prostitutes.
It doesn't matter, you'll be gone in a minute.
Aha! You didn't count on my loyal army of prostitutes, did you?
Oh yes, that is. Yeah, he ruins a live TV commercial. with an army of prostitutes.
We have a friend of the pod. Remember Daniel Magden?
Yeah, absolutely.
He would open for Norm prior to him passing, and had a funny story about Norm being wild. Is he would he liked the chaos of people bombing, and so he would get people that have never done stand up really to do 10 minutes in front of, it's Norm Macdonald. He's selling everything out.
Yeah.
And he would tell them hey, if it falls apart, just pick someone out and tell him he fucks dogs. And so there would just be
that's a great comedy
some
advice.
Random middle-aged guy bombing for a few minutes and then just locking eyes with going look at this dog fucker. Just everyone's more uncomfortable with just Norm's voice in the back, just cackling, laughing.
That's hilarious.
Finding joy in it.
God, that's so funny. If you get in trouble, just be like, "That guy looks like you fucks dogs."
Oh no, I gotta pull the ripcord.
Yeah, it's the funniest ripcord I've ever.
This guy fucks dogs.
It's like a funnier. It's like in Sleepwalk with Me when the guy tells him, "Oh, just do crowd work and stretch it." And you remember, and he's like, "Nice shirt, pussy." He can't do it. It doesn't have the.
I was working with Rocky Dale Davis this past weekend, and he's so good at crowd work.
RDD.
He's so good at crowd work, where it's fun and it's not mean. Because my impulse is to bully a little bit, which is bad.
Yeah.
It's not a good impulse. Mm-hmm. Just because my favorite thing at the fire
station.
That's
what the sociologists tell us.
My favorite thing at the fire station is when a new guy comes in and you just interrogate him.
Yeah.
Trying to find a weakness and then attack it.
Yeah.
Which is essentially crowd work from the early 2000s.
Yeah. D.L. Hughley.
Yes.
Going down the line, just annihilating people.
But
you makes that sound like Mean Girls.
Yeah.
It sounds very much like Mean Girls.
It literally is. Just the male version. Mean Boys.
That's what, there was that whole scene where Regina George was she was measuring Katie up. Katie didn't realize at the time what was happening because she was new from Africa, you see. But once she realized, she put together that she was like, "Oh shit, Regina said she loved that girl's skirt." And then when she walked away, she was like, "That's the worst skirt I've ever seen in my life." And then she flashed back. She was like, "Fuck, she did that shit to me."
Oh no.
Too.
Yeah. A classic.
Fucking Regina.
We had
I'm glad Katie pushed her in front of that bus.
We had a couple good nicknames. There was an intern that we called Landfill.
That's a good. Why?
He was just a dumpy guy.
That's amazing.
And it was always kind of dopey.
That's a good.
And I think his last name was Lanford, so it went Landfill.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a first class nickname. And then it would have been good even if there wasn't a name lineup. You know?
Oh yeah.
Even if it was just you just seem like a landfill.
Landfill.
But the fact that there's a name tie-in, that's.
And then there was another one of Hager. They were he was new, and they were like, "Oh, we need to get you a nickname." And he's always there early, Fire Dog. They gave him a couple badass ones.
Fire Dog.
Yeah, and they're like, "Hell yeah," or Sparky.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he was like, "Yeah, I like that one." And if he liked it, they'd be like, "Ah." I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Balls, the guy with gout, Balderas, he just went,
"Hell yeah,
Fatback." And he visibly went "No, I don't like that one." And then everyone just kind of nods and goes, "Fatback."
Fatback. That's
Fatback
really good. Fatback's a great nickname too. That's like a bluesman nickname.
Yeah, sometimes that is a bluesman nickname.
It is. There's that whole sketch on In Living Color. Do you remember? I can't remember if it was Damon Wayans or who. There was a character that was like an old blues man.
Yeah,
and he would play a harmonica and sing these very simple blues couplets dun dun na na na, but they were always really insulting to everyone around. That was the whole bit.
Yeah,
but he was at his friend Fatback's funeral.
Now y'all know Fatback love him some catfish. Mm-hmm. I say Fatback love him some catfish. You know the only thing he loved more than some of that channel cat? was that little baby girl child. Lord, that girl could cook. Oh, you know, she cooked him some catfish for him the day he died. Wrote a song about it, like here go. Fatback choked on a catfish. That stupid girl fed him the bone. Thank you very much. All right. Now, you know, all his life, Fatback only loved it one woman. You know, he once said to me that she was the only thing that made his life worthwhile. Yeah. Wrote a song about it, like here go. Fatback had another girl in Louisiana. His wife ain't never know. Thank you very much. Now, don't get me wrong now. Fatback wasn't no skirt chaser. No. He did what he did on account of his son. He loved that boy. Wrote a song about it, like the here go. Fatback wife wasn't nothing but a stank tramp. She had a bastard child.
And this one I loved. Back to our Rommel clip. Our previously viral Rommel clip.
Internet darling.
It's almost got like 2 million views now.
He's like fucking Dolly Parton.
I had no idea Erwin Rommel had stands.
The hippo.
Yes.
What's the hippo's name?
I forget, the baby hippo.
The baby hippo. Right in.
Rommel has a lot of dudes that are like, dude, don't talk shit about Rommel, man.
Come on, man.
That's my favorite Nazi general.
Yeah. And you can't, they don't even, like, it's a diss to say Nazi general. Like, you can't say, like,
yeah, like he wasn't a member of the party.
He was like, yeah, but he didn't cheer that hard at the rally.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So, how do you feel now calling him?
And this is me. So, typically on Instagram,
times.
if you talk to us on Instagram, Scott is the one you're talking to. If you talk to us on YouTube, I'm the one you're talking to.
Unless I'm sleeping in which sometimes you might be talking to Jimmy.
Which is also every day.
A lot of sometimes.
I don't know if, I'm somewhat unfamiliar with Scott's schedule, but I have a feeling the sunrise.
Yeah, I'm not up with the sun.
Yeah,
I am not up with the sun. I'll tell you that right now.
But this guy goes, when we were making fun of Rommel, and he goes, "You're not fit to polish his boots."
Oh,
like oh, Marty Conway. Okay,
he's dead. I could literally go elbow drop his grave, and he wouldn't do shit. You know why? Because he's dead. Suck our dicks.
And I was on the Instagram page that day. And for some, periodically I like childishly talking shit to someone.
Yeah, it's fun.
And so I just go, "We'll polish your boots, comma, son." I'm talking shit like I'm thinking of a World War II vet. Like
we're warming up.
Yeah, I'm like a 92-year-old man.
Yeah. You're all washed up.
And then he goes, "Eat a dick, Twinkle Toes," which I'm talking to an 80s sitcom bully now, you know?
Yeah, that.
Twinkle Toes is the giveaway.
Toes.
Eat a dick, fine.
Twinkle Toes.
Yeah, Twinkle Toes. This is a middle-aged man that was never diagnosed on the spectrum, but could have used some extra resources, you know?
Yeah.
And then I go, "You're clearly a scholar and a gentleman. We'll politely decline your offer of said dick eating. We wish you the best in your future endeavors." Then Marty goes, "A gentleman, a scholar, and a fine judge of scotch." And he goes, "Don't be dissing Rami."
Rami?
Which he has
It's called Rami now?
Rami. He has a cute little nickname for a Nazi general.
Rami and Michelle's high school reunion. That
really
changes.
A
very different movie.
Really changes that movie to you. But all right, we really want
to be as beloved. I don't know.
We really went on a walk there with the top comments.
Yeah, we did. But, I think in a lot of ways, meandering is what Oddball History is all about.
So life's about the journey.
Also,
there's thunder. And no dogs barking. Allie, you sweet girl. What are you chewing on, though? Okay, that's above board.
A bone.
That's good.
A bone of some sort.
So today we're going to start with the ancient Egypt, the Ebers papers.
The Ebers Papyrus.
Yeah.
It's an ancient Egyptian medical text.
I think this was lots of 1550 BC. Yeah. So a long time ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
I think my favorite remedy in all of the Ebers Papyrus was the migraine one. both because it's insane and it's practical. How, you ask?
Tell me. Let's explain what it is first.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So the Ebers Papyrus was just it's like a 20-meter long scroll of just all the medical cures they had to document on a papyrus. And
yeah, it was like the ancient Egyptian Gray's Anatomy.
Yes,
essentially.
it was a little long. You kind of got repetitive towards the end, but people liked it.
But there's there's cures for all kinds of things.
Every conceivable thing.
For a migraine, you would take a clay effigy of a crocodile with herbs stuffed into its mouth. It was firmly bound to the head of the patient by a linen strip. The linen strip is inscribed with the names of Egyptian gods. This treatment was said to get rid of the ghosts and demons that were causing the migraine. But they think now that this worked because it was like a cold compress. It was the same as like the clay was like cold against their heads.
Yeah.
So, I mean, probably the Egyptian gods.
Didn't hurt.
They did their part too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want us to get too sciencey here and act like Ra and Osiris and what's another Egyptian god, Jimmy?
Oh no,
I'm dying out here. No, I ran out after 2.
I just know Osiris because in 4th grade, we did
Osiris is the underworld one.
Yeah, we did a mummy project and we mummified a chicken.
Oh, wow.
And then we buried it, and mine was Osiris, and I gave a little.
That was
speech.
a project.
Yeah,
you mummified like.
We didn't mummify it. We like dried it and wrapped it. You know.
Was it like a chicken from the store?
Yes,
or like
it was. No, we did not murder a chicken in this class. That would have been
intense.
Yeah, that would have been intense.
Like, we just had to drain its blood and then take out its organs through a hook. It was just to learn about mummification.
Yes. My favorite one was guinea worm disease.
Okay.
Because, some of these are wacky and goofy.
Yeah.
This one just said you like get the head of the thing and you just pull it out. They needed to write that down.
Yes.
And it was noted that is still the cure today.
Yeah.
You just
you
pull them out. Grab them and pull them out.
Yep.
But they got there were less exciting ones that made sense for like constipation.
Yes.
You would have
beer
berries.
And berries.
Have berries and drink a beer.
Yeah.
Which still works.
Best cure in my book. Tell you that right now.
Then they had some witchy stuff of like painting things on faces with vulture feathers.
Yes. I liked on that one how it was like that was like could be painted on with a vulture feather. It was like a serving suggestion. It was like that's not really the part that
it's going to do it, but it's not going to hurt.
The cure for blindness was pretty involved.
That's more thunder because we're talking about witchy shit. Oh no.
We took the Egyptian gods' names in vain a minute ago, and now they're gonna. Oh no.
Yeah. So the cure for blindness, we're going full blown hocus pocus.
Yeah.
You take 2 dried pig's eyes, and with like red lead and other things, you mash that into a powder, inject it into the ear with honey, and then you repeat. And this was in all caps. I don't know how the papyrus goes. Can you have all caps in a papyrus?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess so.
I have brought this thing and put it in its place.
The crocodile is weak and powerless.
Now you repeat that last part twice.
The crocodile is weak and powerless. So you should be less blind now.
You should be less blind.
You should be at least partly less blind.
So they wrote this stuff down, so they had to have done it multiple times.
Yeah. I liked the that's so true.
Yeah.
It was enough time that they were like, oh, that's the standard.
Yeah, we got it. This is the one. I always wonder how much of this shit we find is like science fiction of the time.
Yeah.
Like, they're just goofing. There's, young adult fiction has always existed.
I don't know. I mean, the Ebers Papyrus seems pretty serious.
Yeah.
All things considered. But it's also, what did you say, like 1500 BC, something like that? It was fucking old as fuck. It's like one.
That's like should be our commercial for the level of historical integrity.
God damn. It's fucking old.
It's old. How old is it?
is old as a motherfucker. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Fucking A, is it old?
I loved the cure for trichiasis was a goddamn adventure. Okay, did you see that one? It's when your eyelids grow in the wrong way. It's that condition. I don't know if I knew about it before this.
Of course, that one.
You combine myrrh, lizard's blood, bat's blood, and then tear out the hairs, all right, from the eyelid, and then put thereon in order to make them well. Then you use a mixture of incense ground in lizard's dung, cow's blood, donkey's blood, pig's blood, dog's blood, stag's blood, collyrium, and incense to prevent the hair from growing back into the eye after being pulled out. That's so much shit on your face.
That's so much.
The original. There's too much fucking shit on me.
That is like if some guy was making that cure and started bleeding a cat out, and he was like, "There's no cat's blood in the recipe."
Yeah, what are you doing?
Are you insane?
Jesus Christ! It's like you've never even dealt with trichiasis before.
Yeah. Let me see your law degree.
Yeah, you fool. You utter fool.
All right, so that's the Ebers Papyrus. The next one I loved was in ancient Greece, the concept of the wandering womb.
Yeah, I think this might have been my favorite one of all of them.
We have Plato to thank for this.
Yeah, Plato and Galen both believed in the wandering womb. It was the belief that the womb was a living animal inside a woman, that if that woman did not have children, the womb would get ill at ease and start wandering about the body, causing all sorts of problems.
Yeah, they viewed the womb as like a separate animal inside of the lady that yearned to procreate.
I'm imagining Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
You remember the guy that was in the guy's belly? There was the brain.
Yes.
And then he was in the guy's belly. That's sort of that was the Greek model of female anatomy.
I couldn't write a joke about this because it was too stupid of a thought. But when they talked about the womb being an animal that would get agitated, I just kept thinking of the rap song, "My Pussy Be Yankin'."
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Gotta get that checked out.
If your pussy is yanking,
if your pussy yanking,
consult your primary care physician.
Consult Galen, the long dead Greek doctor,
Yeah.
or Hippocrates. Any of them, they'll tell you the same. But the cure to this is the funniest part too. The cure to wandering womb was you would put a fragrant, a nice smelling thing below the nose of the sufferer,
of course.
And then sorry, I got that backwards. A foul smelling thing under the nose, a bad smell,
Yeah.
And then you'd put a good smell between the legs. And because the animal would smell the good smell and be repelled from the bad smell, it would lodge itself back into place following the bad smell.
You're smoking out the animal back to where the uterus belongs.
It's essentially like Scooby-Doo with a pie cooling on a windowsill. That's the medical hypothesis here. Is that the womb is Scooby-Doo, and we need to put a blueberry pie between. Damn. Hey, look around the internet. You won't find a better uterus impression than that, my friends. Look at that. Wandering womb. Listen, we're bringing history to life over here, folks.
Life. For those audio listeners, boy, are you missing out.
You're missing out. You got to get yourself to a platform that has the video option and see Jimmy's.
We used to do Rumble, but I got just tired of it.
Yeah, there's at a point like it's easy to upload and stuff.
Yeah,
at a point, and then after a while, you're like, all right, I might kill myself. If
it's like TikTok. I don't personally use it.
Yeah,
so I just hate. I don't think to post on it a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But so pussies be crazy. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, they're wandering. You got to get them back in place. I don't think. I don't think that's still the current science. I think we've moved. I don't think. What I'm saying is I don't believe wombs are animals.
Yes. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
So
That's what we're here for.
let's keep this in the Mediterranean.
In the Mediterranean.
And we're
Let's
going
keep
over
popping
to
olives.
we're going over to ancient Rome. Keep popping olives. This was about the many cures that gladiators' blood provided.
Yeah. Interesting.
This was-
I had not heard of this before we were doing research.
This was a dark addition to an already dark thing of like the gladiator games.
Yeah.
Of at the end of it, there would be throngs of people.
Yeah.
And they would take the dead guy or the dying guy and they'd like slit their throats.
And then they'd go, "Wheeze the juice."
I didn't. I just wheezed.
Do you remember Encino Man? That's what they say when they drink the Slurpees.
That just caught me off guard. I literally squealed with delight.
Wheeze the juice.
Wheeze the juice.
That would be a funny thing to say before you drink the blood of a dead gladiator.
Wheeze the juice.
Wheeze the juice. There's something about the abandon with which you say it.
Yes. But so they would bloodlet the gladiators after they died, and there would be like aggressive crowds auctioning off to drink their blood.
I don't think I read this about this specific kind of scene happening.
Yeah,
And
like at the
that's crazy.
Because originally it was like it would just cleanse your soul, and then it slowly morphed into a specific cure for epilepsy.
Yeah.
And Pliny the Elder even wrote that epileptics would drink gladiator blood like the draft of life.
Like the draft of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the general thinking at the beginning, I think after a while, it was like the epilepsy thing.
I'm still giggling about wheeze the juice.
We got to watch Encino Man. Listen,
Wheeze the juice.
we need to watch Encino
Where there
Man.
will be a clip somewhere in here.
Look, Kashmir, Rajneesh, why don't you just chill?
No buts too.
Link and I are cruising the mountain, bro, and we figure we's a little juice.
No, whizzing the juice.
Wheeze the juice.
No, whizzing the juice. No, whizzing the juice. Whizzing juice.
Chill, bud.
No buts, too.
No.
An important film to us all. A young Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
I saw greatness in him. I was like, look at that.
This guy's gonna be something.
This guy, he's gonna
make it.
He's gonna get a lot of Oscar buzz for playing a morbidly obese man.
Yes, a sad fat man. I
still haven't watched that movie. I'm scared. I think it's gonna be too goddamn sad.
Yeah,
I
think I started it
like a bug.
What did I start? I started The Last of Us last night.
Oh,
Season
nice. I've
2?
been meaning to start that.
Fucking rules. This again
I've
goes
been
into
on-
me like missing certain video games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I think it'd be cool to do a cool zombie game, you know?
Yeah, I would
That'd be
love to
neat.
play a zombie game.
But I guess I'll raise my son like an idiot.
Yeah.
Very.
You know what was fun was Assassin's Creed.
I was
Remember
never into those.
Assassin's Creed?
My
I
brother,
had one of those, and it was fucking
my
awesome.
oldest brother, liked Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I think he still games.
Yeah,
He's got
it was super fun.
He's got like a 3 or 4 year old. He loved like the
Yeah,
civilization.
it like depends on the
it's
game.
Like a,
you gotta find like a game that you can jump in and out of.
yeah.
you know?
He played it's like Risk, but on an Xbox. It seemed fun.
Oh, nice.
It was like a mix of Risk and Age of Empires.
Oh yeah, that sounds like.
Yeah.
I always feel like I could get into that. Like, yeah, I was like, I don't need it. I don't. It's like a time thing, you know, obviously, but I feel like if I had the time, if I was like in prison or something,
And had access to Age of Empires.
and had access to Age of Empires, I was in the Age of Empires wing of the prison.
Yes.
I could get into that.
Oh yeah, there's just so many. But the thing about Gladiator's blood that cracked me up is once the games became illegal, I'm trying to figure out, it was like 450 or 500. It was like AD or AC, whatever it is, after Christ. I'm not doing your new history mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, it's always
Before Christ, after Christ.
BCAD to this old so and so.
But they would just kind of do the same thing to guys that got executed. That they were like, he seems strong. Like if he had
Yes.
characteristics of a
Yeah.
good thing,
Ooh,
and they were
right.
executing him, they would drink his blood. But
Yeah.
then it fell out of favor because they were kind of reaching of just
Because they were losers.
like, we got to drink somebody's blood, And they're like, what about that guy? And they were like, it's just not the same.
Yeah. They're like, I'm not getting any vitality from the corpse of... I read they also ate raw human livers for epilepsy.
Yeah, this was the Epicureans. Not Epicureans. That's the Latin word. Epicureans or whatever, like the precursor to the Romans. They had a big liver thing. Where this all kind of came from, of eating like the cannibalistic medicine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because liver was like... liver was associated with courage.
Yeah.
So like lily liver, that means you're a bitch. In old time speak. In ancient Roman, they would call you a lily livered so and so.
That meant yellow bellied.
And you'd be like, let's take this down to the Colosseum, son. And then you would. And then you'd go down there and Commodus would be like,
where does yellow bellied come from? Need to look into that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
There will be a clip.
Probably this.
I will insert here a clip of a very delightful man from PBS explaining it. I assume.
Yeah, probably. You're yellow.
It'll be a Civil War reenactor somewhere explaining it.
Yeah. Yosemite Sam loved calling people.
You wanted to cover.
Did he?
Probably. You wanted to cover dung cures.
I did. I have quite a few dung cures.
Tell me of these dung cures.
I don't like that you made it sound like it was a pet project of mine. Like you were like, I'd really rather not. And I was like, no, I'm going to have to insist on this one. I want to talk about.
Yeah.
No, but there are quite a few very interesting dung cures. The interesting part about this one too is we're bouncing through history here. This is from like relatively not long ago. This is from 1747.
Yeah.
All right.
What was it called? The
years ago?
Pharmacopoeia Universalis.
From the Pharmacopoeia Universalis, it has, you could spend a day looking at the insane remedies, mostly insane, some good and reasonable, but a lot of insane remedies from this Pharmacopoeia Universalis in 1747, and a lot of them involve shit. So, like, they have, like, what you could do with any animal shit, basically. Yeah. You give them an animal shit, and they'll be like, that's good for these diseases.
Yeah, it literally is divided, like, Corvus, the raven. The dung suspended around the necks of children is reported to ease their coughs and procure them an easy dentition.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that
to
means
mean, like, their teeth come in, right?
Oh, wow. I just assumed it was... That's smarter. I was like, just how they act.
Or it could just mean like the growth of their bones too.
Okay.
I don't know. Any point.
Probably
in
works.
any case, look, you got to tie that sack of shit around your neck.
I'm gonna find some raven shit and wrap it around Owen's neck.
I liked. Yes, I liked this one for rat shit. It is said 9 pieces of rat's dung swallowed are accounted by some of our good women a singular remedy for a suppression of the menses.
Ooh.
So,
lady acting up
that
once a month.
Pain, that
we got a solution.
Wandering, all you got to do is eat 9 pieces of rat
9.
Shit. How big are rat shits? I can't remember. Are they like
small?
Yeah,
They don't look like turds.
You could handful
little pellets. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not as
like you're
bad.
Just feeding the fish at the lake. You know,
it's
like
not going to be
pellets.
pleasant, but this is for your health.
Then I like the homo man one.
Oh yeah,
homo as in the Latin prefix.
That's right.
I didn't want to say the homo man one.
It doesn't have to be a gay man.
Yeah,
it can be any man's poops.
So this one, part of it was included. You like powderize it.
Yeah, you pulverize it.
A
lot of the shits had to be pulverized first, which is not a pleasant task.
And
doing a fucking mortar and pestle to a turd.
Yeah, it's like tableside guac, but just smells bad. You know,
the worst tableside guac you've ever had.
But they would pulverize it and then like pack it into wounds to stop infection.
All right,
which is just literally the opposite thing to do. So you're like, how does this get written down in a book by learned doctors? Because it's like any science. You're just doing a thing, seeing a result, doing a thing, seeing a result over time. So they were packing human shit into wounds. And then we're like, oh, that clearly removes inflammation. all modern science would be like, that should cause infections.
Yeah, that part was a joke. They didn't say that. They forgot to write that down.
Yeah, that was lost in history. It was them going like, nah.
Yeah, we're just kidding. Are you kidding? That's horrible. You
Oh
wouldn't
shit!
wanna-
Y'all read the last chapter? That was something not to do. All right, we're in the 1750s. Now we're going to the 1800s, where a popular thing was milk transfusions.
Yes, for a brief time.
There was
milk transfusions.
Which- Vibes-based medicine.
Yeah.
It literally was
Big
like,
time.
hey, milk kind of feels like blood. It's a little.
Milk is white and fatty. I bet if you just put it in the blood, it'll just turn into blood.
Yes.
It'll just turn. And they literally thought that. They thought the fatty particles in milk would be converted to white blood cells in the blood for some reason. By magic?
Because it's white.
By magic. Because it's white. So, so the first successful...
Things were much more literal back in the day,
Yeah.
you know?
It really, yeah. And like, you were allowed to follow a hunch back then.
Yeah, which I respect.
So the first blood transfusion is done in the 17th century by Dr. Richard Lower. He transfused the blood of one dog into another dog. The dog who was giving the blood died, but the dog who was receiving the blood lived. And that was a big deal, only to kill one dog in an experiment.
Yes. According to this podcast, that is, you're putting up good numbers, just killing one dog at a time.
Yeah, so he's doing good. But then, like, so many stories we've covered, he goes right past the good scientific thing he did into just mad scientist town.
Yeah.
He then is like, next I'm going to do a lamb's blood into a mentally ill man because lambs are gentle.
It was the temperament of the lamb.
They're like, we put the blood in it. I bet he'll be cured.
If you eat the heart, you get the courage. If you get the lamb's blood, you get a lamb-like temperament.
Exactly.
This all makes sense.
He puts the blood in him. For some reason, it doesn't work.
The guy doesn't die, though.
He doesn't die, though. That is a minor miracle in this story that they don't really talk about enough. But he didn't die,
Yeah.
which is, considering the rest of what we're about to get into, most of them die. There's a lot of death.
Well, they did say they did the lamb to the man because you weren't allowed to do human-to-human blood transfusions.
Because every donor dies.
Because the donors all died.
Yes.
They just
100% of the donors are dying.
Which is bad.
So then they just stop. They kind of stop trying for like 150 years. And when it comes back into like discussion, for some reason, they have the idea that they just need to use a blood substitute.
Yeah.
And that could be milk. They inject the first guy with milk in 1854 in Toronto, Doctors Edwin Hodder and James Boville. They injected 12 ounces of cow's milk into a 40-year-old laborer, and he survived. Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Now you're feeling pretty foolish now, you pieces of shit who thought we couldn't inject milk into people. But anyway,
see this. It's like a thing we currently do where, like, if you're bleeding out or something, like, we'll give you normal saline, like 2 large bore IVs, let it rip.
What does that do?
It increases the volume. Like, if your pressure starts dropping because your body is compensating from the lack of blood volume, you can increase the volume to kind of let that system work a little better. But then you can just dilute the blood way too much and they'll die anyway.
Yeah.
But there's like a happy medium where you're giving people more volume to increase the pressure to get everything back in track.
All right.
To at least get to a hospital.
Yeah.
So there's some science happening here where, like, just getting more volume into people is sometimes helpful.
Yes.
I'm doubting milk being the correct.
Milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how they landed on milk.
Yeah. Literally, it felt the same. They were like, slimy. They
were like,
send it.
Yeah. What is milk if not the blood of a cow's udder? I ask.
Makes you think.
It really makes you think. But anyway, so that one guy survives. The next 5 people they try it on, dead.
Yes.
Immediately dead. Because they're injecting them with milk. And then they're 1 for 6 now.
Yeah.
It's not going well. But it kind of sticks around. Like it's they were testing it on tuberculosis patients as well. So it was like they weren't doing good.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I would reason that these guys were probably like, it probably wasn't the milk. This guy was going to die anyway. If anything, the milk gave him a few more minutes of thrashing around in horrible pain.
To spend with his family.
To spend thrashing around with
in
his
horrible
family.
pain with his family. It's really all you can ask for sometimes.
It is. It is all you can ask for.
All right, now we're doing the last medical thing on this. One of my favorites, the Dead Whale Hotel.
Oh, yeah, man.
Which this is from Australia in the late 19th century.
Yep, 1899.
A drunk fella comes across a dead whale.
A rotting whale that's been cut open.
And this is classic. I think a drunk guy did something stupid and rationalized it afterward.
Yeah.
Where he ends up inside this whale for 2 hours. He got stuck. And when he gets out, he was sobered up. And he was like, my arthritis feels better.
Yep, my rheumatism... Gone. Yep. I wasn't just being a menace to society and falling into whale corpses. I was out here doing something for my
I was
health.
doing science.
All right.
But it literally became like a retreat thing.
Yes, they opened a hotel.
People sought out this dead whale treatment.
In Eden.
Where they'd cut a hole and then they would submerge themselves. They'd keep their head out of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, to breathe.
Yeah.
And they preferred the riper, the better. A fresh whale carcass didn't have the healing properties.
Yeah. They built this whole hotel in Eden and they would wait for a whale to die, and when a whale died, they would row the people out to get submerged in the decomposing blubber of the whale.
Makes sense to me.
It does make sense. And honestly, I mean, is there any proof that
this doesn't
hanging
work?
out in a whale carcass doesn't cure rheumatism?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, frankly. I like it that they said lies for 2 hours as in a Turkish bath.
How long are the Turks bathing for?
Yeah, that's honestly, Turkish baths seem a little nicer.
They do seem nice
than a whale carcass.
What is the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? What was that candy that little boy liked? The Turkish something?
Turkish Delights.
Turkish Delight. That's the only
a cigarette.
Is it?
I mean, maybe the cigarette's
for him.
named after candy.
I just know Turkish Delights from that, and then Turkish
Maybe
baths.
Just a really cool kid
from the Titanic video game. Do you remember the Titanic video game?
No, I never played it.
You got to explore the Titanic,
amazing.
And you could do a Turkish bath and play some racquetball.
Nice,
good, clean fun.
I would love to play that game. What was it on?
I think it was PC.
Nice. Could you start an affair with an engaged socialite?
Yeah.
Heiress?
I don't think you were one of the main characters. You're like a detective or something.
You're Fabrizio.
Yeah.
I'm a Fabrizio. Remember Fabrizio? How was that a character in an Oscar Best Picture? And he's like,
it's me, it's Fabrizio.
I'm Fabrizio. I'm only two-dimensional, huh?
I'm just a hero.
I am a live cartoon character. How you say?
How you say?
That wasn't even a good accent. My name is Fabrizio.
You're nailing it.
I think I got it. I think I could play
this in your acting reel.
I think I could play Fabrizio if they
you
ever mount a stage production of Titanic.
If you need a cartoonish Italian man that kind of looks like Dave Grohl,
my name is Fabrizio.
It's right here for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Buonasera.
But yeah, you got any closing thoughts on ancient medicine?
Came from. Yeah, look, these guys, they were gross. They didn't know anything.
They were gross.
They were stupid.
They were gross idiots.
And they were bad at medicine. I looked down my nose at all of them.
I do like the show turns into just
us
scolding ancient
for
people.
What they didn't know.
I mean, so stupid.
You idiots.
Oh yeah, she was a witch.
Yeah,
like,
they thought the earth revolved, or the sun revolved around the earth. Fools.
You're fools.
Those guys are dumb as dog shit.
I had a news.
Every historical figure up until
Mark Twain.
That's right.
Pile of dog shit.
But no, overall, I see like where things are coming from. It would have been very scary to be an ancient person.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to be told what shit to put on you. You know, just a little peace of mind. Is it helping? I don't know, but at least I fucking
feels good.
did something.
Yeah, it's just
at
being
least
proactive.
I have the crocodile on my head now.
Yes. I had a new idea that I did Thursday night on stage turn into a pretty decent joke by the end of the weekend.
Oh, hell yeah. That's the best.
Which on Thursday, though, boy, did it bomb.
Oh, shit.
Because I was laughing in high school. I had a friend, black guy. That's important to the story to know that this one fellow was a black man.
All right.
And my truck had a little bench seat in the back, and he was sitting back there. And a game he'd like to play is when we would drive past another black person, is he would get close to the window, he would shout the N-word, and then he'd hide.
Yeah. All right.
putting 16-year-old Jimmy in a predicament. You're just making eye contact. But that's funny, and I added jokes to it that were good.
Nice.
But then the first night, I was like, the first time I tell a joke or a story, I just tell it poorly.
Yeah, you just got to get it out.
But I just got it out. But the first night I did it, I went into the other side of it, which there's zero humor in, or that I've found so far. Because I was like, I think of it from the guy's perspective. Because I don't describe the person now when I do the joke.
Yeah.
But it was like, another younger kid, 15, 16, and he had like a tennis racket because he was on the tennis team. We were driving through the high school parking lot. And to his perspective...
Yeah, that's just traumatic.
That's a traumatic moment of racism he's experienced. Yeah. And I lie in the joke to say, like, have interaction. But in reality, I just, like, panicked and drove away.
Yeah.
And so this other guy... It's just like this fucking bullshit town full of racist pieces of shit. Like, he was just like, man, growing up, I remember people would just yell the N-word at you out of trucks driving around small Texas towns.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
That's
wild.
Boy, was that not funny to say on stage. But in my head, that's like part of the story is like that realization of like, this was funny in our car. But what a terrible moment for him.
Oh, what a dark time.
Yeah. And I just had to get it out.
Yeah.
And then the next night, it was like, we should probably leave that other part out.
Yeah.
That's funny that a black friend would do that. And
yeah.
Let's leave out
just skate by
the introspective part about racism.
The damage we've left in our wake.
Yeah, let's leave that part out of the silly yucks we're doing.
By it.
Just take a little. That was bad. All right, moving on.
Just kidding.
And I had another thought where I'm the dumb one in my family because my dad my dad and one of my brothers love a fucking museum.
Yeah.
Are you a museum guy? You see him?
Yeah, I like museums.
Yeah. And he was telling me, he was talking about the Ford Museum up in Detroit, which is like Henry Ford's personal collection of rich guy things.
Yeah.
And a quote of his that I often think of, he's now passed, is he goes, oh man, the Ford Museum, it's like, you really can't get it done in a day. Like, you got to 2 days get through it. And I was like, boy, have I never met a museum that I can't knock out in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
However long it takes me to physically slowly walk through the building is how long the museum takes to get through.
Yeah. So I think I'd agree with that. Because I went to the Academy Museum in LA, and that was a lot of fun. And even then, I was done, like an hour and a half, probably.
Who was it, a Bill Burr joke? Or he talked about... might have been Bill Burr.
And the coolest thing about that place, though, that I realized after I was there, was it's across the street from where Biggie was shot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
That auto museum across the street from it.
Was he at the auto museum?
Yeah, there was an award show, I think it was an after party or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our East Coast, West Coast rap history, we cover it all.
I've watched a lot of documentaries about the...
Biggie shooting?
Well, 2 documentaries, but they were spaced out a lot.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of new information, different information.
But, yeah. I don't know. You got any stuff going
Museums, though.
Oh, the Bill Burr joke. It could have been Bill Burr. about like how long, whenever you take like a date to an art show or something, you stand in front of the painting, and then in your head you're going, how long do I have to look at this so she doesn't think I'm an idiot?
Yes.
You know? You have that feeling when you're walking through, like, cool, next. Like, oh, that looks neat, nice.
Yeah.
Not like, ooh, admiring the brushstrokes of the painter.
Yes.
It's just I like the beach. Picture look nice of beach.
I really identify with Bill Burr on those because I like really struggle with myself because I feel like out of place at art museums.
Yeah,
I love them, but I always feel out of place with all the fancies doing this, you know. And I'd be like,
wow.
Telling the docent, they're like, I'm actually an artist too. I just had to say that before my question and shit like that. But no, I like art museums. The last time I had a funny thing, I think I might have told this a long time ago on the podcast, but I had a funny thing where we were in an art museum and I did a bit about it for a while, but the lady was like, as we go into this new room, you'll see a marked shift to more personal subject matter.
Yeah.
And I leaned over to my girlfriend and I go, we're going to get to see his hog, talking about the artist. And then son of a bitch, if we didn't see his hog immediately... When we walked into that new room, I was just joking because the lady had already explained like this next, when he was young, he painted outwards, like looking outwards from his apartment in Paris. And as an older artist, everything was looking inwards.
Looking down at his crotch.
Down at his hog and his mistress. But she had explained that. So mine was a bit. I was like, that's a funny way to interpret more intimate personal subject matter that we're going to see his cock, and then bam,
we saw his
it was
cock.
like third painting in. It was incredible.
Man.
What a call.
We nailed it.
Also, I learned here's a thing I learned yesterday. I learned that when the Spanish arrived in the New World and were interacting with the Aztecs were much more advanced in terms of cleanliness and hygiene, and they thought the Spaniards fucking stunk. So they would burn incense around them. And there were always people like assigned to go around with the Spaniards and hold incense. And the Spaniards took this as like
we're
that
gods.
They were gods. Yes, exactly. They were like, these people think of us as gods.
They worship us.
Just like, oh,
you stinky fucking
you
whitey.
You raunchy motherfuckers, you.
I had another art museum thought of one of my favorite dad moments. My sister-in-law worked at a gallery and for like a year or two. But the Incubus lead singer, what's his name?
Brandon Boyd.
He's an artist, does paintings and things.
Hell yeah.
And he was doing...
Oh, I've listened to Stellar. You don't need to tell me he's an artist.
But he was doing a showing at the gallery, and I was a Incubus fan. But my oldest brother, his wife, like he was that prime age. He's like 40 now, so he was like an Incubus fan.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he was like, I'm for sure going to that. And so my entire family and my dad's there. And part of his kind of pretentious thing was just like, hey, like when I'm doing art shows, I'm a painter. When I'm doing Incubus things, I'm a singer. It's like, so I don't like people bringing up Incubus.
Yeah.
And so my dad gets that speech, and the first thing out of his mouth, they just walk past him and just goes, hey, are you in a band or something?
Hilarious.
Didn't even know the band. Incubus, internationally touring,
huge.
Selling out arenas. This is the height of their success. Not even to know the band. It's like, you in a band or something?
So what's your deal? Why's your hair so crazy?
Yeah. Why's your hair so crazy?
Yeah. Oh man, that's pretty cool.
You got any final thoughts or shows coming up?
I was remembering one thing I was thinking about this week is I was remembering an unfortunate rant I went on when I was like in high school. I remember one day in computer graphics class, I went on this rant about like, I think we had just seen Bad Santa. I think that's what set it off.
Yeah.
But I was like, went off. I was like, man, I just have never ever gotten the charm of John Ritter. Not one time. That guy fucking sucks. He annoys the shit out of me. Something about him.
This is what I imagined.
Can't stand this guy.
15-year-old Scott rants.
That was me.
I never understood the charm of John Ritter.
I did not get the charm of John Ritter, fellow high school students in 2005, 2004. and I'm going off. I go off for like 5 minutes. I'm like, God, that guy sucks. And then the next day, John Ritter dies in the most heartbreaking way ever. And everyone in the world comes forward and is like, John Ritter was my best friend and the nicest man who ever lived. I was like, oh, good.
Boys, they're egg on my face.
Glad we weren't recording things back then. Recording our rants in those days.
But rest in peace.
Egg all over
rest
my
in
face.
peace, John Ritter.
Yeah, we miss you, John Ritter. I've watched Three's Company. Now I get your charm. You're a very good and charming man.
And if you want
a foolish high school kid, just gone off some Jack in the Box tacos. At lunchtime, you know.
And if you want to pay your respects to the memory of John Ritter, and you live in San Antonio, Tyler, or Terrell, Texas, I will be headlining San Antonio May 10th, Terrell May 22nd, and Tyler May 23rd. JimmyNelsonComedy.com for those tickets.
Hell yeah.
You got any shows coming up?
That's right. Oh, you know I don't know.
That's right. You know I didn't write it down.
Follow me on Instagram, Scott Crisp, up 3Ps.
3Ps, baby.
For upcoming shows. Yeah.
And with that, we bid you adieu.
Au revoir, everyone.
Hail Satan.
We love you.
Jimmy and Scott digging through the past. Crazy tales they uncover fast. History stranger than you think. They'll also talk about wieners in a blink. They'll talk about wieners in a blink. Oddball history.